Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 best free-to-play teams of 2020. I am recording this on the 5th of December, so hopefully there are no new categories that release in December that will break this list. I've ordered this list from 10 being worst of the bunch to number 1 being the best of the bunch, in my opinion, of course. Everything is in my opinion. So if you think I have a wrong opinion, or if you think I'm missing out on something, let me know in the comment section down below. But without further ado, I'm just going to quickly tell you guys how this is going to go. I'm going to show you guys the categories. I'm going to show you guys the team build, why I think it's a good team. And then with the team build itself, it's going to be running under the best friend leader. So it might have a pay-to-play leader. That's how I usually run Dokkan events, and that's how I'm going to be ranking these teams. So I'm going to try my best to make this as short, as sweet as possible, because I don't want to make this video too long for you guys. If you guys want like more in-depth of the category itself, you can always search up a video of mine where I showcase the category team in many different events. Anyway, let's get into the first team, which is the youth category. I think youth is still such a stable team. I don't think it's the best as it was in 2019. It's definitely fallen off quite a bit, even though it has gotten some of the big upgrades, such as running Goku and Bulma as the leader. I just think the biggest problem is that there is no big damage dealers. But overall, it is a super solid team. The team that I would run is Gotenks friend, Goku and Bulma leader with Great Saiyan Man. I don't have LR Gohan, Easy Aid, but he's a very nice addition. The only thing is there's no Goku in the team, so he doesn't get his full passive. LR B-Pan for sure, Arale and Goku, 110%. And then Ghost Tanks as well. Are we there yet? I don't even know. And then maybe Oob or Vegeta Jr. depending on the event. I think another big deal for this category is that there's no tech rep. If there was a tech rep, it would be really nice. Definitely a Bulma EZA is a need. Another defensive unit would be super nice, especially for long events. I think this team can do well in long events. There's a lot of tanky units compared to high damage bursty units. So you have a Great Saiyan Man, you have B-Pan if she activates her passive. You even have a defense stacker, which is the Kid Broly in here. So I think overall, it's not like exceptional in one part. It's not good at, it's not the best at defending, it's not the best at damaging, but it's a very, very solid team, and that's why I think it is considered great in number 10. Moving on, we have a special category, which is Earthlings in the number 9 spot. I think Earthlings is very special because it's such a great team without the use of a pay-to-play friend. You run double Krillin, double 150 leads with 8 key in total from both leaders, and it's doing so well. Instant super attacks, they don't need key links whatsoever. Just try to find those attack links. They don't link all too well because the roster is so crazy different. And there's no like one universal link for humans or Earthlings. So that's a problem in itself as a Earthling category. But other than that, it's got a good roster in here. So Krillin, good defensive unit. He can fight multiple enemies. He can stun as well. Really, really good. Very strong. Hercule can lower attack. He is good defensively, he can dodge, all that good stuff. He has the EZA, so that makes it even more beautiful. Majin Buu and Hercule, EZA, one of the best defensive units in the whole entire game. I think those three are a solid must-have on the team. And then it strays off to whatever you want during, depending on the event. Like, I would love to have Chi-Chi on the team. Chi-Chi is one of the best Earthlings cards out at the moment in this whole entire game. Especially if you're versing or you have Goku on the team. And then Spopovich can be a very hard-hitting unit, or it can be a very defensive unit with some heal bags. The Gohan and Videl is super nice if you can lower enemies' attack. Even though they can't support most of the units in here with their passive, I think just their lowering attack part of their passive is super, super good. And then Oob if you're versing Goku for the high damage dealing. And of course, Tech Oob for even more lowering attack and more healing. So yeah, very good category. Of course, one of the biggest letdowns is there's no pay-to-play leader. So that means there is no big damage output unless you stack Krillin up for a very long time. Yo, if you guys are enjoying the video so far, this is probably a good time for you guys to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Only 55% of the people that watch these videos are subscribed to the channel, so let's try to bump up that percentage just a little bit higher. And the best part about all of this is that it is totally free to subscribe, and you can unsubscribe from me if you want at a later point, but I'm trying my best not to let you guys down, as I'm uploading every single day to keep you guys entertained, and I appreciate all the support. But anyway, let's get back into the video. Next team we have is Artificial Life Forms. One thing is for certain, with the addition of Super Boo, the Tech Super Boo leader, very, very good, and Prime Battle Cell as the main leader. You have over 270%, I believe, in stats. The biggest problem here is they don't have that much tanking units. I think what they excel the most is if you can lower the enemy's attack, they are invincible. For example, I brought these guys in the Android's Infinite History event, and since the whole event can be lowered attack, we were taking no damage whatsoever, and I think that was one of the most impressive things about them, because most of the team members for this category lowers attack. So you have Cell, 18 key, lowers attack. Then you have Arms in here, which is a support for the team, which lowers attack. Then you have Android 1415, which lowers attack. You can even bring the Super Boo that lowers attack. Copy Vegeta lowers attack as well, wherever he is. There he is. There's a lot of lowering attack units in the team that can make this team invincible. It's got some decent damage dealers. I wouldn't say the best damage dealers, like Metal Cooler in here. That's depending on your HP and all that. And then Prime Battle Cell. I've seen him crit. He doesn't do that much damage as I used to remember it. Maybe like events these days has increased. Boo is a pretty good unit to have as well. He has damage reduction, and he has some good output damage, and he can even seal the enemies, which is a very good thing, especially if you pair that up with lowering attack. And yeah, so I think it's a very solid team. I think the only thing is you probably wouldn't bring this to an event that you can't lower attack, so that's why they're not ranked that high. A nice little pair is with having Mr. Boo in here, because the Rainbow Orb changing as well. I definitely would have him on the team. My final team would be Cell, Metal Cooler, Fat Boo, Arms, Android 13, Android 14 and 15, and depending on the event, maybe Copy Vegeta or someone else like that. I don't... was that 6? Was that 7? I don't remember. Anyway, let's continue on with the next team. What are we on? This is number 7, which is Space Traveling Warriors, the newest category in this list. With the release of Bojack, he is the leader for this category, and I think this category is super, super nice. The biggest thing I like about this category, this team, is that it is super diverse. Not only can you run like Space Traveling Warriors, but with the addition of Frieza, EZA Frieza as your leader, you can run many different teams with this, with the leader sets that you do have. You can run a Bardock team if you really wanted to, with LR Frieza as the leader, Bojack as the friend leader. You can run Peppy Girls in here, with Rosie Kakunsa, Ribrianne, and, you know, LR Frieza as the leader, etc., etc., or even just Ribrianne as the leader, and then you can have even Zangia as the friend leader, if you really wanted to. I've done a video on that. I don't know when I'm uploading this video, but I've already done a video on the Peppy Girls version of Space Traveling Warriors, so if you want to check that out, make sure you do so, to see how good this team is, really. Yeah, B-Pan in here. You've got some solid, strong hitting units. You got LR Frieza. Bojack is a very nice leader. I think he's one of the better Dokkan Fest, especially for being a decent tank and a decent damage dealer. You got some good super units in here, like Whis. Whis is very nice as a defensive unit, and he can get the free heal back. Lord Slug, EZA, reversing Goku's family. The Inter Frieza and the Angel Cooler work exceptionally well. Even Ginyu in there. You can mix and match these teams, and it works pretty much okay. I mean, there's nothing you can do to this team that would make this bad, and that's why I really like it. Of course, you can purposely make it bad, but if you mix and match whatever cards you had in at that moment, you can make a very solid team that can do majority of the events, and I think that's one of the best things about having a diverse team. And that's why they are in the number 7 spot. They aren't perfect, I will say. Of course, there are some linking problems in there and all that crazy stuff. So yeah. And of course, their leader, of course, you're still running a 90% leader with LR Freezer. There's no 120 leader or anything like that. So you're still lacking in the stats right there. Anyway, moving on to Time Travelers. Again, this team is very solid. It hasn't changed too much. With the addition of Bojack, that's just more firepower if you really wanted to. So if you're versing for a short event, Bojack is your friendly to go with. If you're versing a really long event, then Goku Black is your go-to since he can stack his defense super, super fast. It's got the Easy A Goku Black as the sub-leader, which is perfect because he's free to play. And I think it's a mixture of Space Traveling Warriors as well as Artificial Life Forms. You got the Demon King Piccolo. You have LR Cell, which can lower attack. Piccolo is a great tank. LR Vegito is just amazing overall. High damage output, high defensive unit. Goku Black, maybe a little bit of a weird character because he only excels if you take out an enemy. But if you just utilize his lowering attack, he's more than useful enough. And he can raise his attack and defense for those little moments that you need that higher defense. I think just like Artificial Life Forms, if you can focus on lowering the attack, you can add arms in there, which is not too bad of a choice. Or you can focus on that long event style where you have, you know, just the tanky units as well. There's also the Easy A in Trunks, which lowers attack as well. If you're focusing on those longer events, you know, Great Saiyaman 4 is a nice pick. Kumba is a very nice pick as well. So, I mean, for this team works for long events, short events, and it's really nice. The only thing is, it is not a perfect team. You can't get a perfect long event team. You will have to run some fragile units in there. So, I mean, for a midpoint team, this is very, very nice. And I think it's just mainly carried because of all the LRs. In terms of TURs, there isn't like any TUR cards that like are mind-blowing. There are some Easy A TUR cards in free-to-play that are mind-blowing and are just as valuable as LRs. But in this category, there just really isn't. There's not, like, if you're looking right now for a free-to-play card that would fit in this team that would make this team even more better, there's just really not there really isn't anything. So in terms of changing around the teams, it's not that crazy. You'd run the LRs no matter what event. You'd run the LRs, and then you have like 2 to 3 slots that you could change around, which doesn't make too much of a difference anyway. You're most likely going to have the LRs in the main rotation, so it has some diversity, but it doesn't have the full access kind of thing where it will be like a perfect transition. But anyway, let's get into number 5, which is the final trump card team. Now, this team requires a big setup. It requires a big setup, but I can see the potential in this team. You need 1000-day Easy A Goku in this team, or else it doesn't work as good as you'd want it to be. You have 1000-day Easy A Goku. You have LR Vegeta. You have the new Easy A Super Saiyan Goku. Three very strong cards that could one-shot many events. Then you have the first immense damage unit, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which is great. You have Vegito in here, which can support as well. Candy Vegeta if you need the dodges. In terms of changing around the teams, you can't really do much. I've already told you the team that that will be used forever until they release more cards. But the team overall is just too good. And of course, you do have the blue fusions in here, which of course you know to be super great. This isn't a category per se, but the number 4 spot is a classic of mine, and that is the long event team. This team is just the universal team to take out any event that is considered a very long event with multiple enemies at one time. It consists of LR Vegito as the leader, Tech Trunks as the friend leader, both stacking attack and defense. You have the Caulifla and KO in there, which do multiple additional super attacks, which stack up their attack and defense. You have the defense boss himself, Hercule and Boo. You have LR Krillin, which does high damage, as well as stack his defense. And then you have the Goku and Gohan, which can lower attack, as well as Boo and Hercule, as well as stack a defense. And paired up, and this team is just super perfect because usually long events allow you to lower attack early, which is great because you do little damage at the start, you stack up that defense, and then by the time when you can't lower attack anymore, you should be defensively good to survive anything. Of course, it might be with the assistance of items, but no matter what, this team, I feel like for a very long time, can beat any event, any Infinite History event that comes our way for 2021. So yeah, this is my go-to team for the Infinite History event, and I think they deserve a spot for number 4. Now we have, and moving on to the top 3, and it's Goku's family. Goku's family is so good. It's so good. You know it already. I mean, I'm going to mix this with Pure Saiyans as well because it's also can be a Pure Saiyans team. So that's why I didn't put Pure Saiyans into this list. With the addition of Goku and Gohan, the LR, they have a 120 leader now, which is insane. You have the Easy A Goku and Gohan, you have LR Goku, you have all these LRs in here, most of them being Easy A LRs, by the way, like LR Easy A Gohan. If you have LR Easy A Gohan, LR Goku, they are so good, and LR 1000, like, if you have these LRs, it's crazy. This team is too crazy for me, dude. You can go through so many events, it's too tanky. Gohan has the damage reduction, you have the support from Super Battle Road Goku, 1000A Goku can tank as well, LR Goku can do the damage, your friend leader is Super Saiyan 4 Goku or the Go Bros, which do so much damage, and of course, tank as well. And then you just have like all these like TURs in here, like those are just the LRs that I talked about. Some big like TURs is Goku and Gohan from the Android Cell Saga. You have even the tanking god High School Gohan in here. You can stun in here. You have Chi-Chi in here, which works even better because Goku's on your team now and you have multiple Gokus. I don't know if she has to be fighting in the same turn, but still, very, very strong. B-Pan for tanky. Goku from the barbershop, from the battlefield shop. So defensively good. This team is just overall so good. It was very hard to not put them in number 1 spot, but I think the biggest thing that has affected the number 1 spot is the friend. It really is the friend. I think Super Saiyan 4 Goku is nice, but it isn't doing as much damage as Go Bros. But Go Bros doesn't provide that much leader skill to everybody else. So that's one of the biggest reasons. Until we have like a solid 170 leader, I just can't put them in number 1 spot right now. But anyway, into the number 2 spot, and that is the Goku's family counter, Terrifying Conquerors. If you're versing Pure Saiyans, this team beats them all, and it's so good. I mean, you know Cooler to do the criticals, the additionals, the big damage, right? You have a sub-leader, which is the Demon King Piccolo, which provides a 120% leader, who also has damage reduction built in, so you don't need to worry about him. He changes orbs, especially with all the LRs in the team. It's really nice. LR Frieza, you know the big deals about LR Frieza. Dabura and Barbie, if you wish to do so, there's nothing wrong with that. Metal Cooler. You have the counters for Goku's family, which is the Int Frieza and AGL Cooler. This is technically a Wicked Bloodlines team, so that's why I didn't put Wicked Bloodlines as well. They're pretty much the exact same team, just a little different, of course. Instead of Demon King Piccolo, you would have King Cold and Mecha Frieza, which works really well if you're trying to lower the enemy's attack. So if you can lower the enemy's attack, that's really good. But usually, because lowering attack has become harder and harder to do in the events these days, Demon King Piccolo and Terrifying Conquerors as the actual lead that you want to run is the way to go. But yeah, there's a lot of diversity in this team as well. There's even the Ginyu Force that you can run as in there. You can have Golden Frieza if you want to just support Cooler for even more damage if you possibly can. And there's a lot of SSRs in here. There's a lot of choices that you can run. And so, I mean, they hold one of the best Dokkan Fest cards in the game. And they hold one of the best free-to-play cards in the game, being LR Frieza. And one of the best defensive units overall, which is Demon King Piccolo. And the number 1 spot, which came out because of 2020 Majin Buu Saga. Why do I think this team is amazing? Well, let's talk about pay-to-play for a second. I think pay-to-play never got its never could show this team's light because it was too hard to transform with Goku and Vegeta. But with a free-to-play team, bro, this team is too easy to get the transformation, which means big damage. Even without the transformation for LR Vegito, these guys have damage reduction and still have good power in them, which makes them a very good leader. And of course, they are the 170 lead from attack and defense, which is nice. Not only that, you have a Dabura and Barbie, which is a 130% leader, which is insane. And not only that, they can seal, they can stun, they can have a chance to perform a critical hit by lowering the enemy's attack and defense. This team actually works really, really well together because you have the Boo here, which lowers the enemy's attack and also is a very good defensive unit and a support, by the way. So, like, in terms of lacking links, you don't need to worry because this guy is already there to support. You have Hercule in here, which, of course, you all know Hercule. He has the chance of stunning. He can lower the enemy's attack by 22%, which procs Dabura's passive skill. You have 1000-day Goku if you can get your hands on him for even more damage output, more healing as well. And he can provide some allies some extra damage in there. You can actually proc the Super Saiyan 3 Goku's, whatchamacallit? Unit super attack with Hercule, which is beautiful, means immense damage, raises superclass allies attack and defense, changes orbs, and effective against all types. So that's big damage right there. You have the defense god Super Saiyan Gohan, High School Gohan, for the damage reduction and even more support. And Dabura, you'll be like, wait, they're all super supports. Well, good thing is Dabura gets a lot of ki if the enemy's attack or defense down, which is, defense down is super, super common. So you don't have to worry about it too much. And you get the 3 ki and the 40% attack boost. And it's just, the team is a powerhouse. This team is a powerhouse. And also, you can always run like a different variant of the team. You can have a Goku's Family version where you run the Goten in here, you run the Ultimate Gohan free-to-play, and then you run the Angel Goku. That's a possibility. It's not the best team, but there's still a lot of options you can choose if you need more support. Uber's in there as well if you know you're versing Goku or World Tournament enemy. Extreme class enemies you can have is Majin Vegeta, which is a nice damaging unit with some decent defense. And then if you want more healing, you can have Mr. Boone here, and he lowers the enemy's attack. Everything just comes back to Dabura to doing some massive damage. And that's the one thing I never got to understand back in the early days of when Dabura came out, why he was so good. But after using him and after using a team that helps him out a lot, this team is amazing. And he is amazing. Well, they are amazing, Dabura and Babidi. Anyway, that is going to wrap up the best free-to-play category teams of 2020, or best free-to-play teams of 2020, because we did have a super type team. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If I missed out on anything, let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, stay fizzy. Peace out.